In a crowded high school hallway, where whispers cut sharper than knives, one girl stands alone, her backpack skidding across the floor after a cruel kick from the school's untouchable clique. Meet Riley Kane, a senior with a secret fire in her eyes, who's about to turn a single moment of humiliation into a legend that echoes through the halls. When they push her too far, she doesn't just push back, she slams one of them into a locker, sparking a chain of events that will unravel secrets, shatter alliances, and rewrite the rules of power. Buckle up, America. This is a story of revenge, redemption, the kind of courage that makes you cheer. If you're hooked, hit that subscribe button and join the ride. We're just getting started. Riley Kane walked through the fluorescent-lit halls of Westbridge high with her head down, her black hoodie pulled tight over her chestnut hair. The weight of her backpack, stuffed with textbooks and a battered sketchbook, tugged at her shoulders. It was senior year, and she'd mastered the art of invisibility. Blend in, avoid trouble, survive. That was the plan. But plans, as Riley would soon learn, had a way of crumbling under the weight of a single moment. It was third period. Just after chemistry, when the hallway surged with students. Riley hugged the wall, her sneakers silent against the polished floor. She was almost at her locker when a sharp laugh sliced through the chatter. She didn't need to look up to know who it was. Vanessa Reed, queen of Westbridge's elite, stood at the center of her pack for girls with perfect hair and sharper tongues. They called themselves the Vipers, a nickname they wore like a crown. Vanessa, with her sleek blonde ponytail and designer jacket, was the undisputed leader. Her best friend, Chloe, a brunette with a smirk that could curdle milk, trailed close behind, flanked by twins Lila and Mia, whose identical faces hid identical cruelty. Riley kept moving, eyes on the floor, but she felt their gaze lock onto her like predators spotting prey. She was used to it. Ever since freshman year, when she'd accidentally spilled paint on Vanessa's shoes during art class, she'd been a target. The Vipers didn't forget, and they didn't forgive. Today, though, something felt different. The air crackled with intent. "Hey, loser," Vanessa called, her voice dripping with mock sweetness. Riley's stomach tightened, but she kept walking. "Don't engage," she told herself. "Just get to your locker." But then she heard the scuff of sneakers and felt a sharp tug. Her backpack was yanked from her shoulder, and before she could react, Chloe kicked it hard. The bag skidded across the hall, spilling pencils and papers as it slammed into a row of lockers. The crowd parted, some kids laughing, others looking away. Riley froze, her cheeks burning. She could feel every eye on her, waiting for her to crumble. Vanessa stepped closer, her smile cold. "Oops," she said, tilting her head. "Guess you should watch where you're going, Kane." Chloe snickered, and the twins chimed in with high-pitched giggles. Riley's hands clenched into fists, her nails digging into her palms. She wanted to disappear, to melt into the floor, but something inside her snapped instead. She wasn't invisible today, not anymore. Without a word, Riley strode toward her backpack. The crowd hushed, sensing a shift. Chloe, still smirking, stepped in her path, arms crossed. "What, you gonna cry about it?" she taunted. Riley didn't answer. She bent to pick up her bag, but as Chloe leaned in, mocking her with a fake pout, Riley's patience shattered. In one fluid motion, she straightened, grabbed Chloe's jacket, and spun her hard into the nearest locker. The metal clanged as Chloe's back hit it, her eyes wide with shock. The hallway went silent, a collective gasp sucking the air from the space. For a moment, time stopped. Riley stood tall, her breath steady, her dark eyes blazing. Chloe slid to the floor, clutching her shoulder, her smirk gone. Vanessa's face twisted with rage, but before she could speak, Riley grabbed her backpack and walked away, the crowd parting like a sea. Whispers followed her, a mix of awe and disbelief. By lunch, the story had spread. Riley Kane, the quiet nobody, had just taken down a Viper. The rest of the day was a blur. Riley kept her head down, but she felt the shift. Kids who'd never spoken to her nodded in the halls. Others stared, whispering her name like it was a spell. She didn't know whether to feel proud or terrified. She'd broken her own rule. Don't stand out. Now there was no going back. By fifth period, the Vipers had regrouped. Riley overheard them in the bathroom, their voices sharp as they plotted revenge. "She's done," Vanessa hissed. Riley slipped out before they saw her, her heart pounding. She knew Vanessa's family had money and influence. Her dad was on the school board, her mom a lawyer, who could make problems disappear. The Vipers weren't just bullies. They were untouchable. Or so they thought. That night, Riley sat in her bedroom, her sketchbook open to a half-finished drawing of a phoenix rising from flames. Her mom, a nurse who worked double shifts, was still at the hospital. The house was quiet, save for the hum of the fridge. Riley's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You're dead, Kane." She stared at it, her pulse racing. Didn't know how they'd gotten her number, but she wasn't surprised. The Vipers had ways of getting what they wanted. Asterisk the next morning, Riley braced herself as she walked into school. Air felt heavier, charged with anticipation. She spotted the Vipers near the cafeteria, their heads bent together. Vanessa's. Eyes locked onto hers, a promise of retribution in her gaze. Riley's stomach churned, but she refused to look away. She'd started this, and she'd see it through. The first blow came at lunch. Riley was eating alone in the courtyard when a teacher approached, her face grim. "Principal's office. Now," she said. Riley followed, her mind racing. In the office, Principal Carter, a balding man with a nervous tic, sat behind his desk. Vanessa and Chloe were there, their faces a mask of fake innocence. A laptop was open, displaying a video. Riley's heart sank as she recognized the grainy footage. Yesterday's hallway incident, edited to make it look like she'd attacked Chloe, unprovoked. "Care to explain, Miss Kane?" Carter asked, his voice tight. Riley opened her mouth. But Vanessa cut in, her voice trembling with rehearsed tears. She just attacked Chloe for no reason. We were just walking by. Chloe nodded, clutching her arm like it was broken. Riley's blood boiled. She tried to explain, but Carter held up a hand. "This is serious, Riley. Assault is grounds for suspension, maybe expulsion." Asterisk Riley's world tilted. Expulsion meant no diploma, no college, no escape from this town. She thought of her mom, working herself to the bone to give Riley a shot at a better life. She couldn't let this happen. "Check the full footage," she said, her voice steady, despite the panic clawing at her chest. "There are cameras in the hall. They'll show what really happened." Carter hesitated, but Riley's certainty made him pause. Security office, and within minutes they had the unedited footage. It showed Chloe kicking Riley's backpack, the taunts, the crowd's laughter. Carter's face darkened as he watched. Vanessa's expression faltered, but she recovered quickly. "It was a joke," she said, shrugging. She overreacted. Carter wasn't buying it. He gave Vanessa and Chloe a week's detention and a warning, but Riley wasn't off the hook. "No more incidents, Kane," he said. "One more, and you're out." Riley nodded, her jaw tight. She'd won this round, but the war was far from over.